Our next speaker is Alexander Tietz-Latza. He specializes in law and works in the German Parliament Bundestag. He is founder of Gesellschaft for Gesundes Altern und Prävention. He is active in the field of longevity, one of the founding members of HILS, and is a board member of International Longevity Alliance. We are happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much for this kind introduction and also for your talk. So first, small correction, I'm not working in the Bundestag anymore. You know, elections, democracy, it happens. So I have more time to focus on longevity, which is good. Also, I will squeeze my talk a little bit. Last time it was Brian Johnson. This time it's dinner. But it's fine. And also, I would maybe say, so so if you don't like scientists, I'm a lawyer and a politician. You know, that's not easy. But thanks for you sticking with me. So, talking about law, normally, especially in these times, people would say, yeah, but no one really bothers about law, especially not human rights law. No, I argue it's still a thing. If you look at history and if you look at the rights now, which we have, laws still can make a difference. So very small, going back to the history, this is, as we mentioned, the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, and also the International Convention on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. So maybe what it's not, the right to health is not a guarantee, but maybe first I was too fast. So actually, yes, it's a human right. We have the right to health. You might wonder, yeah, but I'm not healthy. Yeah, we can get into that, but there is a human right to health. We all have it. So it's, of course, not the same as to be healthy all the time, but it means that the state and that the government and actors should do more, or I argue should do more to keep us in good health, or to enable us to stay in good health. So, looking back at history, it basically goes back to determinants of health. So, looking at some like housing, hygiene, sanitation, we can argue that it all comes to this human right to health, because there's maybe not a human right to sanitation, but because there's a human right to health, it means there's also a right to hygiene and to the state protecting environment to, well, could be better, we talk, but protecting environment to a certain degree. Also, I would argue to keep us in good health. So in 2010, my thesis actually was on how the right to health is shaped by our concepts of normality. And I know, we have philosophers here. That's made sound a bit tricky, but I already argued then what we think is normal influences on our health and what the state thinks our health is. So if, what I mean by that is if you, sorry, now I have to go back to this. So depending on where you live and what country you live in and what time you live, this normal is very different, and this normal influence, or this normality is different, and that also influences on what rights you have when it comes to health. So when I did this in 2010, I compared, for example, the UK, Germany, and China, and you could see that depending on the culture, the right to health meant something very, very different. So then the right to health from the beginning to now involved to the highest attainable standard of health. So Melissa kindly put up the definition of that. So it's not just the absence of illness, it's much more. So, and I would argue that if you look at the normality now, it's not really so much what we see, and I think this is due to we just accept that this is the normality. So we accept that, yeah, health is somehow more fate than it's designed. So I actually would argue that we should get more people together to try put pressure on the government. Also, really, if you know lawyers, alert them to me, because in Germany we got together a few lawyers. We haven't put in the case yet, but we will do that. And to group together and really put on pressure on your government, because example is, in Germany we have a famous case of people protecting the environment and going against climate change. They sued the government that they should do more because it would limit their freedom in the future, and they won. It was like for lawyers, it was seen totally crazy. If someone would have said that 10 years ago to any lawyer, they would say, yeah, that's crazy talk. But actually it worked. It happens. Of course, it's not perfect, and of course you find a way to dilute it, you know, but still it's there now, and the government has to act on it. So I argue we can do that for the right to health as well. So I would, if you know people, if you would love to get involved yourself, please let me know. Yes, I think they can get accountable. So coming back to how we can influence what normality is, I was very happy to see this. This is the national body advising the German government on health, and this is really, to me, it's groundbreaking, because the first time it's a mainstream advising body to the government advice, and we can actually do something in preventing aging. Yeah, we can do something. So maybe to all of us, that's clear. But really getting this paradigm shift from acute treatment to preventing of diseases, it's difficult. If you talk to a politician, every politician will say, yes, of course, I'm for prevention, but really funding it, no. Yeah, that you get like maybe €7 per 3 months for a patient or so. Yeah, it's like really. So I was very happy to see people now writing on this, and hopefully then also influencing politicians. And also often politicians don't really know what is already possible in that regard. So yeah, we have heard enough tonight about the longevity divide. I also much into this. I think this health and policies is a good thing, but also there we see in general we have it. We say yes, we should think on every law we do. We should also think on the implications of health, but really has it made an impact? I would argue not so much, because the people who care about health and about prevention, they are all convinced, but we need to have our allies from other political fields and also other researchers, other people, and say, look, this makes sense, please let's work together on this. So this is arguing that we really also should name it. If we have a health span or healthy longevity, let's agree on a definition, but then let's campaign for it. So I was so happy that to read this and to also maybe have a coalition which is not just maybe Germany and Slovenia, but also going across continents. So I skip this and I will come to this talk. Why am I doing this all? Because well, this is my grandmother, 105. She is enjoying life. She's fine. And you know, my other grandparents, she said the other day, well, the other grandparents could be alive, couldn't they? I said, yeah, but it was not. Maybe it wasn't their decision to not be alive anymore. So I would love to see us having this choice, having this freedom of then maybe living to 105 in very good health and not suffering so much. So I thought, okay, after the last elections, what can I do to have an impact to maybe facilitate that? And then luckily a few people came to me and said, oh, you were talking so much about this longevity and that we need to convince more people. So I found some funding, and so we now put together. It's not officially there yet. It will be by the mid of this month. So you see all the links there, but you will find just the German website, not the English website yet. But if you look there in a few days, it will all be there. We set up a new institute on prevention, innovation in medicine, and aging. It has this name also because in German it makes the same makes sense. So it's called PRIMA. And it's also called Longevity Policy Institute. We use this difficult name because to the German audience and also the politicians, we need to have a bit more medical and a bit more less longevity term focus, because you already see that if you talk to a politician now, if at all they have heard of longevity, they're saying, oh, it's like these crazy billionaires just wanting to live another 10 years in good health. And you say, yeah, that's not what we mean. But so we have this very long title, because I like this term longevity. I'm totally in favor for longevity. So we made it a long, complicated name. And we just starting now. I mean, yes, I don't have to convince you of all why we need to do this now. And it's interesting to see that, the economic case is so clear, but still there's so little action from politics at this moment when it comes to that. So we got into this gap. We made clear that we are a non-profit, limited liability company, which is, I think, special. It's based in Cologne, but that's where I grew up, but it's based in Cologne and Berlin, to be honest. Politically independent. It's a special German, this G GmbH is a special German thing. It means you have to have some money to found it, and you can act as a company, but the profits stay in the company for the good cause. So it's a little bit of bridging this, doing things for a good cause from NGO, with showing you're a prudent actor when it comes to business, but also meaning if you make money, it will go into the good cause. So it's a bit of a hybrid mixture, but I think it was for us the right mixture. Also to maybe distinct us from other lobbyists, because that's really what we will do. Is a lot of coffee drinking and influencing politicians, and they're used to lobbyism a lot. But with that, I think we can distinct ourselves a little bit from the normal lobbyism. And with that, I am happy to take any questions. Thank you.
All right, questions? So, yeah, maybe Melissa, did you have us?
No. Thank you. Thank you so much. So very interested in PRIMA. We'll want to talk to you more about it, obviously, but I'm wondering, doesn't sound like it, but is it also a funding mechanism for certain people, or is that not part of what it will do?
So at the moment, it's not a funding mechanism, because we are 3 people. Yeah, so we're 3 people. For at least these 3 people have some funding for a year. Well, actually for more than that. But of course we would like to do that, and we already. I mean, this is not really out publicly yet, but there was one conference in Halle last week in Germany, and we will also try to get into this, also to provide a network, because people directly ask, where can we sign up to? Because there are researchers, young researchers in the beginning of their career saying, oh, but how can we help? So, and I know young researchers are used to exploitation, and they said, no, but we try, maybe you can really help us. And also you want to get together like-minded people. So my former life was European Parliament, German Parliament, but also a little bit into research funding. So I helped writing grants, so researchers can get money from the European Union for grants. And I would love to see this also becoming a platform where at least these people meet. I don't know if we can really provide the funding for them, but we can at least maybe facilitate that.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Yeah, thank you, Alexander. No surprise that I agree with most of what you said. It's concerning the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You quoted rightly the Article 25, but there is also one less often quoted Article 27.1. Everyone has the right to share in scientific advancements and its benefits. It is once again an article rarely quoted. What can you a bit speak about this? How could we use this to share scientific to promote more sharing of a scientific advancement for health?
So, I mean, looking forward for your talk on to your talk actually on sharing data and good practices on that. I'm not an expert on this this article. I maybe can look also into this, and maybe it could be part of a campaign. But I'm not. I mean, no one will prevent you. You might have a different point of this, but I would say no one really prevents you from sharing your data. And even in Europe, as data protection is often used as a, say we don't do this because of data protection, actually I would argue there are ways. It's often not that the law itself is so bad, but that certain people are using it to not do things because they don't want to do things for other reasons, but just use that the data protection will prevent them from doing it. So I don't think it's such a big problem, but we'll maybe just discuss it later after your talk.
Okay.
Maybe one sentence to say, Maybe one sentence to say, there is also Article 27.2, and 27.2 is about IP, let's say, moral and material interest resulting from any scientific, literary, or artistic production of which he is the author. There are the problems, the choice between copyright and sharing.
I totally agree. I mean, I know you're lawyers, so yes. I mean, we have seen it in the corona, right, and the vaccination. We have seen the talks. We have seen some nations saying we have to, no matter what, we have to keep up IP. Other nations said we maybe don't have to keep it up at that point. It's an ongoing discussion, really. I would say it's yeah.
All right. So I have also one question. So if I understand, you talked about in normalization that if I understand, when we get therapies against aging, diseases of old age will not be so normal as we perceive them now. Yeah. So my question is, what about the early studies, like the studies on mice, for example, when we cure mice of aging, let's say we prolong their life a lot, like Aubrey de Grey is doing, do you think this will already influence our view of what is normal and what is not?
Well, I think it influenced our view, but I'm not sure if it has influenced really the view of the, let's say, public. And this is where I think we need to get going, because other human rights have evolved a lot in the last years. And I would say somehow, as we see aging so much as a fate, we don't push enough. And I think, I think there we could, we could influence enough, or we could influence much more, and we could do something on that. In general, I mean, when you talk about what is normal, discussion in Vilnius, which the deputy health minister, I think she was, discussion was on, yes, let's first try to prevent children from dying because this is not normal, aging is normal. And you say this is a very special take. If you look at 50 years ago or 100 years ago, it was very normal that of 10 children born, maybe 5 would die in the first 5 years or so. So this is what I mean. It feels so different in a way with this aging, but in my case it's not different. It shouldn't be normal. Yeah.
Great, thanks. All right, applause. Thank you. Thank you, Alexander.